Hello, my name is Miriam and today I'm going to explain 3 different topics of the EX Pro anthology. And the first one, it's about chapter 5, discipline. I choose classroom discipline, what and why. Yes, and I have to say first that classroom discipline is a state in which both the teacher and learners accept and consequently observe a set of rules about behavior in the classroom whose function is to facilitate smooth and efficient teaching and learning in a lesson. The relationship between discipline and learning in a lesson is a crucial one. And unless the tasks are themselves meaningful and useful to the students, learning may not be taking place, despite there being an orderly or disciplined atmosphere in the classroom. In my case, for example, I work with students from 15 to 20 years old, around. And in my case, discipline is something important, and you have to keep that in the classroom, in each class. So it's a kind of emotional atmosphere that you have to develop with your students, and as the author mentions, it's a state in which both teacher and learners accept. Yes, so it's not just only kind of mandatory or something like that. It's something in that the student feels comfortable but also can learn. In this case, we have to try to establish some form of classroom control. In my case, for example, when I am working with my students, they know that they have to pay attention, stay in silence most of the classes. One strategy that I use to work with discipline in my classrooms are with these tongue twisters, or try to pass the list. We have a list that we have to pass every class, and this is the way. From chapter 6, I choose chapter 6 is about the use of the L1 in the classroom. I choose the 6.3 called switching, and I have here some interesting ideas. I have the first one. Research has shown that in many foreign language settings, teachers and learners use their first language far more than the target language. Sometimes in the beginning or the first levels, this is the case. For example, in my case, the last semester I taught 5th semester of English, and today I have first. So first semesters, it's you really have to use the mother tongue because sometimes are kind of complex for there. Especially the grammar. When you are explaining grammar, some rules, for example with plurals, you really need to use the Spanish, because even when they have kind of levels, some of them get lost in some cases, so it's pretty important to use the mother tongue in first levels. I have another interesting idea here. Why the mother tongue is used in EFL classrooms seems to depend on the following factors. And we have different factors. The first one is the type of activity. Obviously, I think that we read in other chapters that we can use the whole time if we explain clearly the rules of the activity, sometimes in Spanish in our case. So it depends on the activity. And the second one is how the teacher believes the students learn best. Sometimes we make some comparisons between the L1 and L2, and the students get the idea. So I think that it's not bad to use L1 in the classrooms, especially in first levels. And the number 3, how the teacher views the role of the first and the target language. For example, a teacher may use only the first language for disciplining students. Sometimes we give the rules and they don't catch what is the main idea of the rule, so we really have to emphasize the idea in Spanish, because discipline is pretty important, especially with young learners. And the number 4 is how the students view the role of the first and the target language. For example, the students may want to only use English in controlled practice situations. Well, in this case, sometimes when, for example, the students are doing a role play or creating their own, they really need to communicate in the L1, and we can do anything. We can maybe insist to use the L2, but they really need to communicate in their native language in order to have a successful activity. From chapter number 7, Teacher Thinking, I choose the Number 7.4, the way in which we were taught. And this is about teacher thinking. To me, it's pretty important this because most of our childhood we have been exposed to do different styles of teaching, and sometimes we adopt those styles in our classes or maybe some strategies of them, and to me it sounds something good. I have here one good idea about the reading, and we have new teachers teach as they were taught. In some of the cases those things happen in the beginning, but when we start to train and we start to read and look for information about teaching, or for example in our case studying a master about teaching English, everything changed because you know that you have other possibilities to teach and you have different ways to get the goal. Thank you.